Hey, Alex, what's happening? 2 more till cool down. All right. So you survived them. Alex checked in. He's doing intervals. Joanne, what's happening? She checked in. Thumbs up. Scott Hutchins, hello from the great state. Scott's one of our Wichita Falls crew. Rides for our bike lab team. So thumbs up to you fellas. They like Oklahoma so much they can't. They have to come ride all of our series. So awesome crew from down there as well. Joanna's boiling eggs. Must be doing some prep for tomorrow or snacks for tonight. You guys that don't know Joanne, on Facebook, she's Joanne Kovac Roberts. It's just Joanne Roberts for most of us around here. And her husband, Mike, they run the show out at St. Crispin's, another one of our favorite trails. And we'll be visiting them as our last venue of the year later on in the season for the season finale. So love those guys and awesome work they do out there. Again, we'll just kind of chill for a few, and I'll talk and say hey to people to check in, and we'll give 3 or 4 minutes, and then we'll get rolling. Got some hearts flying, some thumbs up flying. I can't really tell who all does that. Maybe I can. I'm just not smart enough to know how to do it. Ah, Stephen Smith's in there. Jeremy Black's in there. All right, cool. I can. I just have to hover over the thumbs and the hearts. I wasn't smart enough to do that in the past. Now I got to figure it out. Jeremy Black, say it isn't so. I'm not sure what I'm saying isn't so. Darren Hall, you're in too. What's happening? Darren Hall's another one of our Lawton crew, and hey Darren, how you feeling? I see you're doing trainer stuff and out moving around, and doesn't look like your shoulder is bothering you too bad. So I'm hoping that surgery's gotten y'all fixed up. Alex says the price we pay to go fast. That's all right. Speaking of which, right there, baby, right there, Alex Canada. That's me. I know you can't read that, but that was my today. It was awful, but I did it. Hey, Ryan, Superfly Palumba. Not sure if we've met Ryan or not. If not, come say hi. And honestly, I meet a lot of people, and I'm usually really busy on race days, so I may very well have mentioned it's just kind of zoomed over the top. But Ryan just checked in, says, hello, racing mountain bike for the first time this weekend at Medicine Park. It's awesome, brother. Come say hey. And if you have any questions, just ask. We'll get you hooked up. Make sure you're all good to go for racing, brother. Mike Pickle sitting here watching and having 1-month anniversary cake with his wife. So Mike Pickle doing the family duties and still checking in. So hopefully him and the wife are both checking in. She's going to get him. He's going to get her introduced to his little world of cycling. So, all right, quite a few have checked in and thumbs up and all that. So let's go ahead and get rolling. As usual, if you guys have questions or things you want to talk about, just pop it in the comments. I'll try to take breaks in between, and I'll scroll up and catch everything if I can. I miss some sometimes, but I try to respond to everybody. And obviously, if you have stuff after, you can go for that as well. So let's jump right into it. So I've got a couple shout outs. So you can see I left my Billy Goats up here. This is my Medicine Park Billy Goats t-shirt. I got that a couple years ago. Hey, John Denton. All right, John Denton may hold out for the evening. He's got 75% battery this time. I think last week he was like at 4 and didn't make it very far. Josh Brazil, what's up? Tulsa, TLC, Keystone. We're going to talk about you guys in a bit. So anyway, Medicine Park Billy Goats. I'll just let this up here. Medicine Park. Hey, it's just, you know, we're going to talk about their trail here in a bit and some other trails, but you know, they're next in line, so they get the primo spot today. I do have a little different sweatshirt over here, and some of you may recognize this, some of you may not. This is the kind of been the standard go-to for March and Okarche. Now, I don't know what they did this year, but back in the day when Desiree promoted March and Okarche. March and Okarche is a sprint try, I think. It's sprint. I'm not sure the exact distances, but it's a smaller duathlon. I'm sorry, duathlon. So you run, bike, run. And, you know, again, as I've said, so many of us are not just mountain bikers. We're cyclists. We do a little bit of everything, keep the edge on and keep the boredom at minimum. And it's fun to go do other events. May not be our specialties, but it's fun. Duathlons is one that we one off sometimes. Haven't done one in a while. However, March and Okarche, the reason I've got this up here is because I just want to give a shout out to some of our ladies. I think a lot of them started out doing trainer night, and I'm not sure how they came up with the idea, but they all decided they wanted to do a triathlon. So they prepped for it and they did it. They knocked that out. I think it was this past week. No, it was the weekend before last. Or was it this weekend? I don't know. You guys can correct me. I'll lose track of time because I'm always off doing stuff. So, but I know they did that. It was Julie Denton, Jennifer Garland, and Tegan Malone. And there's tons of other people that did it, and many of you guys may have. But I just know that these three gals are kind of local and part of our little crew. And I just want to give props, shout out, thumbs up. They all did it. They all completed it. And great accomplishment, especially considering, when you take a cyclist to make them run, we don't always do so well. I know I don't like running, and it hurts. So anyway, I just wanted to give a big shout out and say congratulations. You gals did great, and we're totally stoked for you, and all good. Let's see. John Denton says he thinks I may be a little sick, but looks like I'm drinking water. Trust me, no water. We'll cover this in a bit. So Jeremy Black says wine plus Julie, and that should be wine box plus Julie equals bad ideas. So we can blame Julie Denton on the whole March and Okarche and suckering the other gals into it. So, but they all loved it, had a good time, and we're all super stoked that they did it. It's fun. Well, so since you mentioned it, John, so we got a little, I don't know, creamy looking liquid here in my moonshine-ish glass. So this is a little creamsicle flavored homemade moonshine from my go-to moonshine maker, Johnny Nicely, and he's always hooking me up. This is the last remnants of my birthday gift from a few weeks back. I saved a little bit. All right, so I was getting a Facebook message call there. I'm sure that was an accident because I don't do that kind of stuff. Nolan, Oprah 2020. I'm not following that, so you'll have to expound on that for me. And then of course I've got my my go-to Team Wine box, and this little doohickey here. This is a little bit of blueberry vodka. Man, it is tasty. It's like candy. It'll get you in trouble quickly. So, all right. I forget this every time. Again, most of you know me. Some checking in may not. I'm Corey White. A lot of people just call me the Wizard, obviously, because of all of this stuff, and it works. This is the weekly Wizard update. Started it a few weeks ago, and people still seem to, people haven't got bored with me yet. And honestly, I kind of have a lot of fun with this. It's kind of fun doing it. It's a little nerve-wracking at first, but now I kind of enjoy it. And I don't know, so we're just going to keep it rolling. Thumbs up, Jeremy Black, Rock Wizard, Mike Frazier. What's happening? Mike Frazier out in another Texas guy, but he's not just across the border. He's way on down in Big D. So welcome, Mike. I want to double up with the next little section, and it's going to be a little shout out, but it's also going to be a little secret information on the Wizard myself. I mean, a lot of you guys know me. Most of you just think I'm a cyclist. A few of you know me well enough to know that I'm an IT guy, but most people probably have no idea my background. I've been in education for 25 years, working. I mean, obviously I was in it before that, going to school. I started out with 2 years as a secondary high school teacher, and I was just technology teacher, typing, computer technology, software, stuff like that. And then I got a job opportunity to move to the university, and I was a university technology director for 5 years. At the same time, I was also a computer science teacher, and then I moved over to Southwestern in Weatherford for a year and was a full-time computer science professor there. And honestly, I was kind of bored with just being a teacher at the college level, because before I was technology director and a teacher. And so then I looked at a job, and I ended up here in Hobart, and I've been in Hobart for 16 years, the technology director. I'm not currently a teacher, but I do IT for the school, so I'm involved in all academics, students, everything, so anything involved in IT. So there's a little background. My lead into that is, obviously, I think everybody's aware what's going on at the Capitol right now here in Oklahoma. If you're not, man, you live in a bigger hole than me, and I don't even do media. I don't read papers. I don't watch TV. The only media I get are here on Facebook and through my friends. So I just want to give a big shout out. We have a huge crew of people in the cycling community that work for schools, our teachers. We're involved in schools, and obviously the rest of you probably have children or grandchildren or somebody that's involved in a school, so this affects you, and it's a serious situation. And I just want to say that I personally, speaking for TdD Dirt and myself, I'm in support of all of our teachers that are up there, and I praise them for what they're doing, and I wish, give them my support and love, and say thumbs up, and into that, I guess. So now you know where I stand, and you get a little background information on myself as well. So all right, cool. Mike Pickle says 25, you need to retire. Hey, dude, I wish I would, but I got in it a little bit late in the game. I'm 25, I'm like 26 years in, but I didn't start till I was like 24, 25. So that, and I missed the 90 rule by like 6 months. So I've got like 8 more years before I can retire. So, and yeah, Stacy Cook, I have fixed your computer before, among many that I've fixed. Let's see. All right, moving on. So I've got a big subject coming up. I don't know how serious it'll be, but I think it's a fairly serious subject. But for now, before we get to that, I want to do kind of a revamp of last weekly update, because we're still getting some questions over this, and there's still some discussion out there. And I even saw a question out on Facebook just today. So a lot of it is threads get kind of lost on Facebook, so people ask the same questions again. But I just want to do some course updates. I want to revamp them a little bit. Most of them have not changed, but it will also probably provide a little bit of information leading into my next subject that we'll discuss later. So let's hit up medicine. Well, first of all, I want to say that as of Friday and Saturday, I've now, as most of you know, I pre-write every course that I can, even if it's courses that I'm familiar with. I always do that just for a variety of reasons. One, I like to do it. I enjoy riding them. Two, you know, it preps me for the race just like it does you guys. But more importantly, I have more things to deal with than the normal racer. And when I'm out pre-riding the course, I'm not just looking at it to see how good I'm going to do or how well I'm going to turn this corner or whatever. I'm looking at the course as a whole. I'm looking at course markings. I'm looking at logistics. I'm looking at times. I'm looking at the race flyer and what we've got proposed versus the course itself. And so I'm essentially doing a course evaluation, and that's just part of the gig. It's nothing that's required of me. It's just what I do, because I want to make sure that our courses are safe, effective, efficient, marked well, ready to go, and meet all the requirements of TdD Dirt. And most of that happens behind the scenes. Obviously now it's not behind the scenes because I just made it public. It's no big secret. It's not something I talk about. And my promoters know about it because I'm hitting them up. Just like today, I hit 3 or 4 of mine up, bugging the crap out of them about just random little things. And it's things that, you know, a promoter just doesn't think about too much, and it's not a huge deal. But some of those little things are a big deal to me, and it's a big deal to all of our racers, and it's a big deal in the long run. So anyway, it's just stuff that I do. And I've managed to get pre-rides in Medicine Park, Ponca City, Keystone. Got all those knocked out, got hot laps, easy laps, evaluation laps, times. So I'm pretty solid with the courses that we have. And I just want to talk about those a little bit. Good stuff, Johnny. Good stuff. Again, you guys keep questions coming. If you have things popping in your head, just give me a shout out and give me a comment over there with a question, and I'll get you hit up, answered. So Medicine Park, I talked about the courses already. I'm not going to go into too much detail. Just going to do them real quickly because we've already discussed this. We're starting and staging everything at the sorry, little call there. Starting and staging everything at the Kids Cup area. If you're not sure what that area is, then you probably just, you know, we can, I know we can talk more about that later, or you can contact Mountain Bike Club of the Wichita's or Post and TdD Dirt. One of those guys will get with you. But anyway, we're starting staging everything at the Kids Cup area. Cat 3s will start and finish there. They will not go across the bridge and go into the main area of Medicine Park by the stage like before. The Cat 1s will stage in the same area over by the Kids Cup. However, we will neutral roll out after we check in and take roll. And then we will go on over to Mary Circle, which is the little gravel road just by bus camp. It's where the F5 started, and we will restage everybody there and start everybody in their normal categories. And that way we don't have to race as a whole group through town to start the race. Yes, for the Cat 1s, our second loop, we still have to go through town. But by that point, we'll all be in small batches, singles or 2s or 3s or whatever. And so it'll be really thinned out by that point. And I think we'll be able to navigate traffic because they're not going to close the downtown area. I'm sure they'll have people there, but you know, it's just want to be one of those things. I mean, it's like racing a road race on an open course. You never know when there's going to be cars out there. So, you know, you just have to be smart and not do anything stupid, and we'll all be fine. And then we'll finish back at the Kids Cup area. After that connector down from the winery. About the only, you know, again, one thing I do want to say about the Medicine Park course, and we've worked on adjusting the course pretty much every year since the inception of Medicine Park, and it's gone from crazy hard to really pretty hard, and even last year was, I don't know, last year was hard, but man, the climbing and the mud and the wet just really killed us last year, and there were still some super tech areas. But this year, they have dialed it back, and a lot of that has to do with just, I've asked them to, and they want to showcase a lot of their trail, and but we've actually got them to showcase a little bit different part of their trail, and it's a much tamer version of what I think we've had in the past. There's one area, and it's going to be the section where as we're coming back on yellow, which is Upper North Ridge, and we hit, there's just a big area where Highlander, when you're going out, and Upper North coming back, you're going to be able to see one another and see each other. It's going to be really close, but we're dropping out towards the road and towards the lake, and we're dropping down to Lower North Ridge, and we're taking a line called Chef's Line. And that is, and they've got some signs up there. So, again, I'll allude to this in my next subject about course difficulty, but this is one of the only places that personally I feel on their course is one of those oh shit moments. It's a little bit scary. There's a couple of drops, but they're totally doable. If you're not comfortable doing them, then you just jump off and you run down them and you're good to go, and you get down at the bottom and you go again. Jump on your bike and go. So they've got signs up as appropriate, and in fact they've even got a little bit more than they have to. They've got some, little skull and crossbones, and they've got the down arrows. But anytime you have double or triple down arrows, that is the universal mountain bike signal for a dangerous area. And anytime you see those, then you need to check those out. It's perfect to go pre-ride and check them to see if that's something that you're comfortable riding. If you're not, jump off right and walk. Simple as that. But that's the markings. And honestly, that's the only place in the course that I see as dangerous. Whereas I see is hard. And I rode it all cleanly, pretty easily this weekend. So, it's all good. It's going to be a good course. I think everybody's going to be happy, and times are going to be a little shorter, I hope. And they're going to be right in line with our TdD rules. So all's going to be good. Going to be a fun weekend. So I want to reiterate the weekend. Now, maybe if some of you guys out there can multitask and you can give me a little picture, but I haven't done the weather, but I hear it's going to be a little chilly possibly on Saturday. So, but hey, we'll still go out and do things. So April Fool's weekend, they have a full weekend. So, man, there's some events where if you can just come and really have a good time and not even worry about the race, this is one of them. We got Friday night. We have a night ride at base camp. If you can do that, come do it. That is such a blast. So chill. We just ride 2 or 3 miles. I'm not even sure we go that far. Just ride around town. Ride up to a nice chest and drink some beer. And I didn't even have lights last year. So if you got lights, great. If you don't, well, you can just jump on somebody's wheel. It has a really good light, and just hope for the best. I did that. Just follow someone with a good light, and it was a good time. Heck, I'm not going to tell you that. I was going to say I didn't wear a helmet, but I don't think that I did. Anyway, good times. That follows up Friday night again at the tavern at 9 o'clock. Hosty is going to be playing live, and I think there's been some posts about that, and he's got a long time connection with the guys at Medicine Park, so he's always down there. He's he just has he's a musician and does some comedic stuff, and he's just a real fun time, and anyway, it's a good event and good place to hang out and drink beer and listen, and it's all fun. So, and we roll into Saturday, and Saturday they're going to do their normal 9:30 cross country group ride. I'm sure they'll have multiple people taking people out for the Cat 1-2 course as well as the Cat 3 course. But 9:30 is their normal ride, and they're just going to keep with that. And there'll be a lot of locals there. So if you want to get a guided tour, this would be a perfect time to do that. 9:30. also from 9 a.m. to 4, and they have posted on, I think, both True to Dirt as well as Mountain Bike Club of the Wichitas, the Strava segments. There are various Strava segments that you can go do throughout the day at your leisure. You can do them multiple times if you choose. It's totally up to you. It's free. There's no cost. You just go do it or you don't. And then at 4 o'clock, they're going to have a check-in, and they're going to check and see who's got the KOM or who won for that day. And they're going to have all kinds of prizes. The whole downtown area at Medicine Park is all jumped on board, and almost every shop there is given 10, 15, 20, 25, even $30 gift certificates, and they're going to be giving those away as awards. So all kinds of cool stuff going on throughout the day. And then if you can't make those, or if you make those and get a shower and you want to come back and have some live music, they've got 7 p.m. on the main stage, Cade Roth and the Black Sheep. And that's going to be rocking for quite some time into the night, and that'll be a good show. And then that takes us into Sunday. Sunday is pretty much the standard thing, so you guys are fairly used to that. Pre-reg at 8:30, 10 o'clock Kids Cup, 11 o'clock Cat 3, 12:30 Cat 1, 12:40 Cat 2. So that pretty much sums up the events. So let's get out there and make it a deal. Let's see. I'm gonna roll up and do some checking here. I missed a few comments. It's good stuff. David Copeland, hey, you bet, man. David Copeland just chimed in and said thanks for all the work and effort to help these races happen. I can't take credit for that. I just kind of organize everything a little bit from an administrative standpoint, but all the hard work, right up front work to the trail and to the preparation of the event and the permitting and all that, man, that goes down to our individual promoters at each event. So when you're there and you realize the guys that are running these races, man, give those guys the kudos, not me. I just kind of give them assistance and help guide them through the process, but they're the ones that do all the work. So, but thanks anyway. I do put in some time. Mike Pickle says going Friday and Saturday. All right, very cool. I'll see you there, Michael. John Denton says I rode it clean because I used no magic. Rode it clean because I practiced that stuff. That's it. What time does a night ride start? I'll be rolling down Friday evening. Ryan, Superfly Palomba. What's I think I said 7:45. 7:45 for the night ride. So probably, honestly, things operate on Medicine Park time. So the odds of us actually starting at 7:45. Yeah, I don't know, but be there, maybe a few before just in case. So, Josh Reeser, some beer, more like a lot of beer. There you go. Yeah, that's right. So Reeser and him and his crew and our crew hung out last year at the Hosty while he was playing at the tavern. We had a beer 6. So it was good times. Good times. All right. Mike Pickle hit me up privately afterwards later. There will be a place to stay if you're interested. I know someone that has a one of the plantation rooms, and I think they're going to give that up. So if you want that, you're probably welcome to it. Just hit me up. I can hook you up. Oh, Angela, never mind. Angela's already taken care of that. Sorry. Oh, I'm behind the scenes. Scott, he's already, so yeah, you guys have already got that all hooked up. Don Lasola, you bet, man. I know. I think I look good in blue. I've got a red one too that you left. So again, Don Lasola checks in from, I can't remember, Houston. I think you're Houston. He's our one of our regional rep, and he's got like a big long title, but he's with our USA Cycling, and he came down to Claremore, and I've worked with him several times. Super cool dude, and rides his bike, and I snagged this shirt from him. Stacy Lynn Cook, you checked in late, so I've already gone over that. So I got a little Dreamsicle Moonshine. I got my team wine box crappy Merlot from a box, and then I've got my blueberry vodka. So okay, Ponca City. I'm going to just give a real quick update of Ponca, and I'm going to get a real quick update of Keystone because we've got those coming up. So I'll spend more detail on those in upcoming weekly updates, since those will be the primary focus, whereas Medicine Park is currently the primary focus, and they've got a big shout out the last two weeks. So Ponca, got down there and Saturday, and Des and I knocked out. And we knocked out 3 solid laps out there. So, man, that was a lot of fun. Great. We hit the jackpot with the weather. The weather was perfect. And I guess there were people in and out all day. We missed a lot of them. Luckily, we had another person show up a little bit late, like we did, because it was like the first weekend we've had off, so we slept in. And Brandon Reed was there, and so we got to ride with Brandon Reed. And I think we did a couple laps with him, and then we had done one earlier. But anyway, we did three laps. So, man, I love that course. A lot of fun. And I had a couple of sections pretty hard, just kind of test them out. And legs are feeling good that day, so it was enjoyable. They've got a new section, so you guys need to go check that out. So you remember the one boulder section that kind of freaked everybody out, that I think gives Ponca kind of its name as being so hard. But again, I kind of tell everybody that boulder section that we had last year, it's like 0.2 miles. That's it. So it seems like it's a really long part of the course, but it's only like 0.2 miles. So, man, you just suffer through that, run it if you got to run it, but get through it, and jump on your bike and keep rolling with the rest of it, because the rest of it's rocky, but it's not it's not super gnarly. You can just sit and bash your way through that quickly. So yeah. So anyway, the new section, I have talked to the boys there, and they're going to in fact, I think they've already done it. They've got a little warning arrow. There's a drop in that's just right at the beginning of the new section. The new section is very similar to that boulder section, but not as hard. I cleaned it the first time, not even seeing it, with no lines, not having any idea where I was even supposed to be turning. So it's hard, but it's totally rideable. And again, the only part that I would say was kind of somewhat scary was the drop in. If you're unsure, just jump off and walk it. But again, it will be marked. They have a caution sign, and then they have a down arrow sign. And again, the down arrow, an arrow pointing down, always symbolizes that, hey, be aware this could be dangerous. And so always check that out before you just like bomb off it. So anyway, Keith Arney checks in. Hey, sorry, been working on the new 1960s Twin Fleet Cruiser. Keith Arney, yes, he has. I saw that picture of that. That is pretty sweet. He just got him a new Twin Fleet Cruiser, like 1960s model. It's getting it all fixed up for a nice little cruiser bike. So, man, it's a beautiful bike. I look forward to checking it out and maybe taking a spin on it next time we get down there. Okay, let's see. I think that's all for Ponca. Again, like I said, I'm going to go into more detail later. They got a lot going on down there. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but again, I just rather wait because we're 2 weeks out right now. I mean, I don't know that you're going to get much time to pre-ride unless you're one of those folks that has time during the week, because we've got 3 back-to-back races. So I think we're pretty much weekended out. And so if you get down there, check it out. Let us know. If not, pre-ride the day before on Saturday. So cool. Let's move on to Keystone. So again, I don't want to talk a lot about Keystone. I got out there 2 weeks ago, so I had an open time frame during spring break for me, and I got out there and went ahead and knocked that out because I knew I was going to still need to get Ponca and Medicine Park in, and so I knocked that out 2 weeks ago. I got 3 hot laps in, and did a little course evaluation, and they've got a new section out there called Serpentine, so they've added a little bit of distance to it. I mean, obviously everybody's Garmin's different, but I'm looking at right about almost 6 miles, just a smidgen under 6 miles. And with my time frames, I mean, granted, there's going to be some guys run faster than me, but I figure, you know, when you're looking at all the Cat 2s and the Cat 3s, almost all of them are going to be running slower than me. And so with the time frames, I've talked to the promoters, and without going into a lot of course detail that like I said, I'll go into with them in 2 weeks. I do want to say that if they haven't posted it already, they will post it, but we are going to be changing the lap distances. So originally, because of the course, without that new section, the course was just barely 5 miles, and we were turning easily 30-minute laps. And now with the extended distance, you know, I was running, I think I have the KOM right now, which obviously won't last, and I'm right at 39, like 38.50 or something like that. So like I'm like at 39 minutes. So, and I did 3 pretty hot laps. So that's going to be pushing the time frame. So if you look at our rules, that puts the time frames at, 3 laps and 2 laps and 1 lap. Is probably that is what we're going to do. So I think the flyer originally said we're going to do 4 laps for Cat 1, we're going to do 3 laps for Cat 2, and we're going to do 2 laps for Cat 3. But we're going to reduce all those by 1. So we're going to do our standard, 1 lap for the Cat 3s. We're going to do 2 laps for the Cat 2s. We're going to do 3 laps for the Cat 1s. So, and that will put us in the right time constraints or the right time frames that TdD recommends. So all good. Still, other than that, it's the same basic course. So love, again, another course that I love, and that's been a staple in the TdD for, I don't know, well over 10 years. So I can't remember not riding it, honestly, and I've been doing this for, like I said, 19 years. So all right. All right. I don't see any. Dylan says 90 minutes. Well, 90 minutes is, yeah, hour and a half. That is if we're doing 30-minute laps, but there's only like maybe 3 of you guys going to be doing 30-minute laps. And I'd venture a guess that even some of you guys that are doing super fast, like Dylan and Ray and Malott and Chris Drummond, if they come out, Aaron McDaniel. I venture a guess those guys are going to be sneaking up on 30, but I don't know that you guys are going to be breaking 30. If you do, more power to you, but geez, still you're in for a long day. I mean, even if you guys are doing 31, 32, you're doing over an hour and a half on a very hard course. I think you're going to be satisfied. And you add 1 more lap in, and man, it changes things considerably because, yeah, you guys are going to finish within the recommended time frame, but the rest of us are going to be sneaking up on 3 hours. So, so anyway, it's all good. So I think we're going to shorten that down, but it's not going to be short. So it's going to be right on. So. Jason and Kevin Caldwell are talking back and forth about short and long races. So a little inside joke between Kevin, Jason, and Gelke and I. So I kind of like the longer races too, Jason. Gives me a chance. Two laps is too fast with what they've narrowed it down to. Can they add some of the other sections from Brad? They have added a new section, Brad. It's I'm not sure what all. I mean, unless there's more new than I'm unaware of. I rode that Serpentine section, which is new. I don't know when that was added, but I've never ridden that. I haven't been out there in a couple of years, so that's new. And we were doing that whole section. With the time frames, the lap structure that I just mentioned is going to be well within the time frame, and you're going to be spot on with what we're supposed to be doing. So there is some stuff they could add, but it would probably just make it that much harder climbing wise, because it's that Cat 1 section that's hard climbing, little uphill that's technical, but it would probably only add like 3 or 4 minutes to the distance, and we really honestly don't need to add time to it. So Julie didn't try, but there's no water. I'm not going to do water for looks. I'm just going to keep my moonshine and all that going. So I got you, Dylan. Dylan was clarifying a statement he made and what I said to him. So thumbs up. Yeah, I got you. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to move on to the final and big subject. So, and probably just close with it. Zachary Hood, you bet. Home course for you, brother. So look forward to seeing you, and you should have all the lines dialed in. Let's see. I want to get a little bit of this here. I need some of this to jump into this next subject. So over the it kind of culminated today. I had a couple messages today, but it's been ongoing, off and on. I've been getting hints, and I've actually had several messages over the last 3 or 4 weeks. And then, of course, I got a few comments early when we first announced the season schedule, but then not a lot came to it. But I think this sequence of races that we have coming up right now, that are 3 of probably our hardest courses, have reawakened those comments, and I've received several messages. And so we have a lot of concern with people about the course difficulty that we've selected for the series this year. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about that and just kind of give my thoughts on it. And I figure my comments will do one of 2 things. It will either open a dialogue for discussion, or it will close it, depending on how you take it. I have to admit that I have a very, in the past, I've had a very closed mind when it came to courses and dealing with them and manning up, and as Jeremy just mentioned, rule number 5. But over the years, I've softened a little bit, and the main reason is because as I've jumped into the leadership role, I have realized that I have to look at it from different perspectives, and I try to do that, and I think I do a fairly good job of that. But at the same time, I still hold things true to my personal standards. And I was a beginner once too, and I came into mountain biking with 0 mountain biking experience, 0 cycling experience, except as a kid riding around the neighborhood, getting into mischief. Never raced bikes before, so I was an athlete, but I was not a cyclist. But as you well know, being an athlete doesn't mean you're going to be a good cyclist. Being a non-athlete doesn't mean you can't be a good cyclist. So those things don't always relate. I think I've turned into a fairly decent one, and those are all learned skills. Those are all skills that I've learned. I've taught myself. People have taught me. People have shown me, and I handle them all fairly well. And so, to me, that means that so can everybody, or most everybody. Obviously there are different skill sets, and some can and some can't. But for the most part, I think the whole goal is to get people better, teach them how to ride different courses so that they can experience other things in other states without fear. And I think if you can ride our series and deal with some of our stuff, then you can go ride places like the Wichita Challenge and ride it and not be scared. So anyway, I'm going to move on with, I have some specific points here and kind of get off topic a lot. So Kevin Wagner popped in a little bit and says, what difficulty, and the whole world can't be Bentonville. So I ride all those places, so I get your comment, but I have to be a little bit more PC than that. So I'm gonna just continue on with my points and not bring that out a little bit too much. So so as well as the comments about the courses being too hard, some of the comments have led to the fact that the Tour de Dirt, and honestly the Tour de Dirt, I mean, I use that term loosely. I have a small board of directors that I use to assist me in making decisions, but ultimately it falls on my shoulders, and I rely on them to just guide me. Sometimes if I have questions or if I have a point of view, then I run it by them to make sure that I'm not just totally off track. But ultimately it falls on my shoulders. So a lot of people felt that we guided this year towards a much harder course, a much harder series overall, and to a much more technical series overall, and that we did it with a purpose. And honestly, that is completely not true. Didn't have any plan. Honestly, the way that I do the schedule and then I approve it through my board. I'm essentially the one that does it. I just look at the schedule. I look at the events that we have coming up. I look at the promoters that are interested, the races that we've done in the past, and I start putting them on paper. And then I start calling up the promoters. I'm like, hey, so what's happening? This year I call a promoter and it's like, hey, what's happening? He's like, hey, we're moving our venue. I was like, okay, where are we moving it to? How are we going to make this happen? Start last year with talking to Keystone. For some of you, Keystone's new. It's a new venue. It's a new course. But the reality of it is it's not new. We've been doing Keystone for years. I was doing Keystone 10, 11, 12, 13 years ago. I can't remember how far back it goes, honestly. It was a staple. And it's pretty much the same course that we're running here in 2 weeks. Or, sorry, 3 weeks. Ponca's in 2 weeks. 3 weeks, we're doing Keystone. Same course. They've added a new section, but all the hard stuff that people are a little bit worried about, same stuff we've been riding for forever. So this is not new, same old course. Yes, we have gotten rid of some of our easier courses, but when I say we got rid of them, we did get rid of them. The promoter just chose not to have a race there. So RDR was a staple and has been for a while, but they are choosing to do a little bit something different, and they're going to try to organize a little bit of a endurance series this summer. Something that I've had kind of been on the back burner for a while, and I've turned that over to OEF and some friends there, and I think they're going to try to get that going with my advice, just because I don't have time to do it, and they want to do that with their course, so they chose not to be involved in Tour de Dirt. That was their choice, not mine, and so I had to fill that spot, and I did. We had a vacancy already, and so I don't know. Tour de Lizard was a new course for many last year. New venue again, but again, it's not a new venue. It's a venue that we've been doing, and as usual, same old course that we've been doing for years. So some of that scary stuff that you had, that one scary drop over there, that scares me too. But that's been a course in the Tour de Dirt for, gosh, I don't know, 15, 16, 17 years. Maybe Bobby Smith is out there and he can tell me how long they've been doing it, because I can't remember. So Anyway, just want to say that we had no goal. I mean, my goal was not to make this series hard. It just kind of happened that way. In fact, I didn't even think about it. I didn't even realize that we had developed a series that was that hard, because I don't think of it that way. I'm just trying to get venues and trying to get promoters online, trying to get dates set, trying to avoid conflicts, trying to avoid conflicts with Texas races, with Arkansas races, with big road races like OKC Pro-Am, Tulsa Tough. I mean, the scheduling process is I can't say it, but it's just it's an effing nightmare. And to develop a schedule and get one with no conflicts is, I mean, the fact that we've been able to do that now for 4 years running, I'm stoked that we have. And we're going to continue to try to do it. And as things play out, I don't know. Maybe we'll continue to be running these same courses. Maybe we won't. A lot of it just depends on the venues. It depends on the courses themselves, the promoters, and we'll see what happens. So anyway, enough with that. All right. So I do want to make my choice here. Let's knock this bad boy out. Continuing, same subject. However, with all these courses being difficult, I do, and I mean, if you know, for those of you that I've had several people, and their main reason for their concern with the difficulty level of the courses is the safety. Well, first of all, we're mountain bikers. And I mean, the reality of it is it's a dangerous sport. People get hurt all the time. I get hurt all the time. I mean, I was hurt like 6 times last year. Some of it was mountain biking. Some of it was road biking. Some of it was 3 weeks in a row, road crash and all that. And I didn't get healed up, honestly, until about 2 months ago. Part of the gig. We had, you know, a good friend of ours who started last year. You know, we talked about it at St. Crispin's at the end of the year last year, and he had a neck injury, and he's paralyzed. It happens. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this isn't a dangerous sport and that injuries can happen. It does happen. But it doesn't always happen because, of course, it's difficult. Sometimes, and most honestly, it typically happens on courses that are not the most difficult. I can recall injuries on some of our Tour de Dirt races. This year, we've had a broken wrist. In the past, I know that we've had some heat stroke issues. I know we had a fractured pelvis one time. But outside of that, nothing majorly catastrophic. But I do know that we've had issues non-racing. I've known multiple people that have been injured and hurt severely at Bluff Creek. Probably one of the most used courses and least difficult courses around. Now, those people that only ride Bluff Creek probably say that it's pretty difficult and the rits are hard, but the reality of it is, I ride Bluff Creek on a 3217. It's not difficult. It's bumpy, but it's not hard. But you're going fast. There's lots of turns. There's lots of places to mess up. A lot of people get hurt. And in fact, I think probably 15 years ago, there was an injury and a severe injury there. I'm not going to go into details on that. I mean, someone else that knows the details can. But the simple fact is, you can get hurt in this sport. But the difficulty level of these courses and the safety of these courses, in my opinion, is not in question. As I mentioned earlier, and the main reason that I talked about the fact that I pre-rode all 3 of our upcoming courses, and I will continue to pre-ride all of our courses, and I do it every year, even if it's the same course that I've ridden for 19 years. And that is because you never know, things change. I always pre-ride them, I always test them, I always check for course markings. I always check for safety issues. These are just little things that I do, and I've been doing for the last 4 years. And I never leave a course, or I never allow a promoter to run a course with sections that I feel are unsafe. Now, if it is unsafe, or there are sections that are just stupid, crazy, scary, I make sure they mark those sections. The generic mountain biking marking are arrows pointed down. 1 arrow, 2 arrow, 3 arrows pointing down means danger. And then sometimes they'll add to it with a yield sign or a stop or a skull and crossbones or something of that nature, and that's perfectly fine as well too. But if it's marked, then that means you need to take heed. You need to look at it. You need to pre-ride it. You need to test it. You need to see if it's above or below your skills. You make that determination. You ride it or you don't ride it. It's up to you, but you know, it's part of mountain biking. It's part of the learning curve. It's the nature of the terrain. It's the nature of the structures that we have for courses. Okay. So, I mean, I think I covered everything there. So, I mean, just in closing, yes, our courses are hard. They are. But they're not unrideable. Plenty of people ride them. And the whole point is to become a better rider. Now, I get that beginner riders are a little bit scared of some of the hard stuff. And unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do. There will be beginner riders that are very beginner skilled, as well as fitness. And when I say beginner, I do want to clarify that, and I really think that there are 2 types of beginners. And I don't think people always understand that. There are beginner skills and there are beginner fitness. Those are 2 very separate things. Perfect example that I would love to give, and I don't want to dog on my Medicine Park boys, but my Medicine Park boys have Cat 1 skills. They can ride anything. They ride shit that I don't like to ride and I won't ride. And they do it easily. But I don't care. I just get off and walk, and I just wait for the next hard section, the next climb, because I know that I have Cat 1 fitness, and I know that they have Cat 3 fitness or worse. So when it comes to the real deal, they're going to die because their fitness is not there. But they ride the hard stuff, so their skills are solid. So everybody's different. Some people have skill levels that are good, that are not good. Some people have fitness that's, you know, all different levels. So every person's different. You just have to judge your fitness, you have to judge your skills, and you've got to figure it out. And you've got to work on it, got to get better. That's it. All right, I'm going to close that subject. Haven't had a lot of comments, but if you guys have some comments, you better chime in pretty quick because I'm fixing to close up shop. I want to finish with one statement, and my good buddy Chris Rogers and I, anytime I have a question about something, or I don't know, we always seem to be on the same wavelength, and so I always want to run stuff by him. Just because his feedback is sometimes confirms what I'm thinking, or sometimes it negates what I'm thinking. And I trust his opinion. And I laugh about this because he's been giving me this same phrase for years, and I've kind of adopted it as my own. I've kind of stolen it. And I can't even remember how many years ago he told me this, but you know, we're always dealing with issues on whether it's the length of the course or the difficulty of the course or whatever. And his statement or his phrase always is, it's supposed to be hard. That's it. It's supposed to be hard. Now, whether that means the fitness level, it's going to take a super, you know, you're going to be out there for a long time. You better have your endurance fitness level ready to go, or whether it's a hard course and it's technically difficult. Either or, supposed to be hard. So anyway, my 2 cents, I don't know, my $2, my $10, my $20, I don't know. That's just, it's my thoughts on the subject, and take it for what it's worth. And if you have comments, questions about those items and things that you want to discuss, then feel free to, you can hit me up privately. You can bring it up here on this live feed. So I'm an hour in, and no comments right now. I don't see anybody with, I don't know, let's see. Okay, hang on, I didn't scroll down, so give me a bit to get through here. Wow, I missed a lot of comments. So Brandon Reed said 99% of Watch Talk Challenge, right? So if you can finish the first part of Watch Talk Challenge, holy hell. I still say of all of our courses, the first part of the Watch Talk Challenge that we did in Arkansas on that Watch Talk side, that's the hardest crap I've ever done. That beats me up, and it's scary as hell. Zachary Pro Rocks, Rad Keystone, Kevin Wagner. I think TdD. I've ridden 3 trail systems this month, and I've never even knew they. This is a good statement. Kevin Wagner makes several statements here, and we go back. I think I've really met Kevin last Thanksgiving for the first real time I had a good conversation with him, and he says, "Thank you, TdD. I've ridden 3 trail systems this month that I never even knew existed." I mean, how cool is that? How cool is that? That's an awesome thing. Mike Pickle just chimed in, kind of added to he said he did his first race at Keystone in 2005. So that tells us how far back this thing goes. I wasn't quite sure. Jason and Gilkey made a statement, and this is common. He says, "First time I rode Keystone, I thought it was really, really hard. Second time I rode it, I was amazed at how much easier it seemed. As you ride, you gain experience and fitness. Keep racing, keep riding." And this goes to another subject that we might touch on next week in the fitness and training. But I will say this, and I tell everybody this when I'm talking to them about training. Your technical skills are one thing, your fitness skills are another. But the more fitness you get, the easier it's going to make your technical skills, because so many times you make mistakes not because you don't have the skills to do it, but because you're so damn tired that you just screw up because you can't think, you can't react, you can't move, you're so redlined. And so the better your fitness, a lot of times the better your decision making. So that makes it not as difficult. So that's very important. Thank you, David. So let's keep up the good work, Corey. Doing a wonderful job. Thank you. Steve Palmer, a little TMI, says did Keystone in 2011 right after a vasectomy. Hey, Steve, I've got a vasectomy story. I'm going to save you guys. Maybe someday you guys can talk me out of it, but yeah. John Dens, accept the risk for a sport. Thank you, Jason. I'm not sure I should give you any more advice, though, because you keep kicking my ass. Jason Agelki says, broke my collarbone in Bluff. 3 days later, Roman knows Corey told me there are 2 kinds of mountain bikers, and leaves it at that. So Jason and I are duking it out now, so I'm going to have to quit giving this guy tips because he's putting the pain cave on me. Heath says, love the schedule. Thank you, Heath. I do too. Bob Davis says, this is a learning curve, the arch my body makes going over the handlebars. No. That is the fitness that you gain to ride through all that stuff that you imagine yourself going over the handlebars on, because you're not. You're riding through that stuff now. Jeremy, beer fitness. That happens too, brother. Kevin Widener did ask a question. He says, is there a such thing as Cat 3 single speed racing inserted there? There is no cat category in single speed. Single speed is one of the open categories, so it is single speed only. Open, which means it can be men or women. Desiree has raced in it a couple of times. Don't know if we've had any other ladies do that, but it can be category 1, 2, or 3. So it is all categories. Everybody, it's as long as you have one gear, you qualify. Scott Hutchins says Cat 5 fitness for me. Yeah, but you're a Cat 1 at camping and cooking though, bud. Man, it's like Scott Hutchins has got this whole camping thing down. Yeah, Brandon Nesbitt just says late to the party after watching YouTube. Yeah, I'll get it posted up to YouTube here in like the next, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. So Rory Peterson says pre-riding saves lives. It does, and makes you go faster. Yeah, takes the sketch factor out of it for sure. And Alex Canada, hey, I've used this one too, buddy. He says, if it were easy, everybody would be doing it. So. Alyssa Lutz says, important to remember that you can walk anything that you're not comfortable riding. I was super nervous about racing anything this year. I was sure Medicine Park was out of my ability zone. I guess I'm eating those words. Yum, yum. So Alyssa's a new rider for us, and comes really from a triathlete Xterra stage. So she's jumped right in and jumped right up to Cat 2, and she's riding these courses, and she goes out and pre-rides them all and tests them, and she's doing well. So, I mean, perfect example that, you know, hey, if there's a section that scares you, get off and run. Hey, I'll give you a perfect example, Mr. Kai Cordis. I hope you're listening. So, as you guys know, I ride single speed, so often there are climbs, there are things that I just can't do, or it's just too hard for me to risk. So, Hamburger Hill, for all you guys, there were some people talking about Hamburger Hill at Medicine Park over there on the Cat 3 side. It's a really super hard, steep climb, and I just can't climb that damn thing on my single speed. I've done it one time on my single speed because I sold out and did it, but not in a race. It's too risky. So this Friday, yeah, it's Friday when we were riding. It was Friday, that's right, we were riding. Kai was in front of me, and he cleaned the sucker. I was right behind him, and I got off at, I have a designated dismount point where I ride to it, and then I get off, and I run the bike up. And I ran the bike, and I ran my bike at the same speed that he rode it. And then I jumped right on and mounted my bike and was ready to go. And I lost 0 time. So just telling you, it doesn't always hurt you. Plan your dismounts, plan your runs. Kevin Wagner, single speed is a league of its own. Yeah, maybe it is, but you know, hey, more people do it, more people get better. So, yeah, all right. I think we're all done with questions, and I've gone an hour and 9 minutes. So, I think an hour is my go-to time. I keep thinking I'm going to shorten it up, but I'm long-winded. So, I want to close one more time with, I don't know. Welcome to the, closing with the weekly Wizard update. We'll see you next week. Next week, possibility coming from Jason and Gelke, and something that I get lots of questions about, so I think it's a good subject. I may spend the majority of the time on it after my course updates. And I want to talk about some just basic training concepts and ideas and what it's about and what you guys can expect, because people ask about it all the time. Some people don't even know about, should I be training? And it's a good subject. And a lot of us that have been into it for a long time, we get it, and we get how important it is. And so look forward to that subject next week. If you have specific questions about training or things about involved in that whole nature, then either hit me up privately, hit me up on the event page, whatever, and I can add those to my notes as we go through the week, and we'll get going. So love you guys, and see you at Medicine Park. It's going to be a hell of a weekend, and that's it. I'm out. Later.